Hello everyone, welcome to the Ichimoku.co daily stock market review for the trading day ending Monday, February 9th. Firstly to the S&P 500, and here we see a change of trend for today's trading. Candle making a lower high and a lower low following an indecisive candle at the end of an uptrend that lasted for about 5 candles. The indecision entered the market as it tested just above this previous swing high and the one prior to that around the 2064, 2065 level. The market failing to close up above there, and the indecisive candle set this market up for a change of trend to the downside. Now the problem for the sellers here, however, is that there is very solid support just below where the market's tested to. We did find some support around the 2040 level, and just above there we have the top of the Ichimoku cloud, and we're likely to see very solid support coming in around that area. So it does present something of an opportunity for the buyers if they are strong enough, but they will need to breach the area above this 2064 level and the swing high that was established for the prior day's trading around 2072. Just looking at the bands here with the S&P 500, and here we saw a previous bullish breakout up above the upper band, lacked follow through. The follow through was on an indecisive candle, finding support, however, at the top of the Ichimoku cloud. At the top of the bands. Sorry about that. And holding support there, and then for today's trading, reversal of that area as an area of resistance for today's candle as the sellers came into the market. There is a possibility of the S&P testing down to around the middle of the bands, finding support around there around 2031, and if the sellers are strong enough and they can breach that area, looking for strong support down around the 2010 level at the bottom band. Moving next to the Dow 30, and as we saw with the previous market, the S&P, we saw the market testing above a zone of previous support and resistance, testing just above the previous swing high up around the 17,920 level, and being rejected from there on an indecisive candle. The market was set up for a change of trend there, the indecision in the market following the strong buying from the day prior to that, and the sellers taking a moderate amount of control away where the buyers previously had strong control. We also had a potential bearish harami type pattern set up here, where we had the uptrend play as a white body candle, black body candle, where the body was within the body of the previous, and confirmation of that change of trend today with the market making a lower high and a lower low. Now the market did just test down below the 17,735 level of previous support and resistance, but interacted with the top of the Ichimoku cloud. So as we saw with the S&P, very solid support below where the market's trading at the moment. There's a possibility of the buyers coming into this market, but the buyers will need to be very strong to breach this area of resistance that the market's interacted with in the recent past, and where we've seen some very strong selling from in the past. And the previous 2 times that we tested to within that highlighted yellow zone, we saw some follow through to within the Ichimoku cloud, so possibility of the top of the cloud not holding if the sellers do find some strength. In terms of the bands here, and following the bullish breakout, we failed to see the strong follow through, giving us the confirmation, but in a similar way that we saw with the S&P, we had the formation of the indecisive candle, the top of the bands around 17,750 or so holding a support, and today it's failed to hold a support, and there is a possibility, if the sellers are strong enough, to test to lower levels. Initial support based on the bands would be the middle of the bands at 17,552, and then down to the bottom of the bands around 17,353. Moving next to the NASDAQ 100, and here we see a slightly different style of trading that we saw with the previous 2 indices, and we have the market trading within the Ichimoku cloud. So we have a neutral market in big picture terms by the market testing within the cloud. We've seen for the previous day's trading that the sellers took control following the strong buying up above the Ichimoku cloud. The cloud previously holding as support, now holding as resistance for today's trading, and the sellers continuing with the control by closing down between the midpoint level and the low, and suggesting a possibility of the trend continuing to the downside. Now, if the trend does continue, looking to strong support around the Kijun-sen and Tenkan-sen, roughly trading about 4180, 4181 area, and then just down below there about the 4147 region. But if we do see any buying coming into this market, we're likely to find very strong resistance at the top of the cloud around 4239, 4240. And just looking at the bands here with the NASDAQ 100, and here we saw the previous breakout up above the upper band, the lack of follow through, the sellers coming into the market straight away. It's not unusual for that to happen. What we like to see is the bullish confirmation following that breakout, and it didn't occur. So a fairly neutral market with the bands pointing sideways and the market testing back down very close to the middle of the bands. Looking to the middle of the bands here at 4193, 4194 to act as strong support if the sellers do continue with control in this market for tomorrow. And moving next to the Russell 2000, and here we've seen a confirmed change of trend today following the buyers losing control for the previous day's trading. Indecisive trading for that day as the market interacted with the 1212 level of previous resistance, and confirmation of the change of trend today. Slightly more bearish candle than we've seen with the other markets. The market closing down towards the low and suggesting that the sellers have shown some strong commitment here, and they've closed with very strong control, and possibility of the market trading down to this 1191 level of previous resistance and support. Likely to be strong support around there with the top of the Ichimoku cloud around that level as well. So we may not see the sellers able to breach into the Ichimoku cloud, and we could actually see some buying coming in around there. So some important trading action for tomorrow. Moving next to some stocks, and just looking at the weekly charts here, and the first stock to look at is Apple. AAPL is the code. The second last candle on the chart is the one that has completed trading, and we're looking at an indecisive candle as the market is tested around the resistance level at 119.75. For this week's trading, we are testing around that area, and it is going to be a very, very important area moving forward. With this being an indecisive candle, there is an opportunity for the sellers to come into this market and change the trend to the downside. If we do see that change of trend, likely to find strong support at the Tenkan-sen, trading at 112.57. We have seen Apple outperforming the S&P 500 here on the relative strength comparative. But if we look at volatility, it's really not trending following establishing the cyclical high around that previous peak. So there is potential for the market to retrace here and volatility to come off. That could form something of a double top pattern if that occurs, if the price action trades down through to here, but a lot would depend on beating the support down around the 104.55 level, and a close down below there would complete a double top. But at the moment we're not even trading anywhere near that. We don't have a first time frame downtrend yet. Now, just looking at the right hand side here with the bands, and for the last week's trading we saw the upper band holding a support, that's at 116.21, and moving forward 117.14 at the moment is where the upper band is, and likely to hold as strong support into the future. Moving next to Tesla, TSLA is the code, and on the Ichimoku chart we've seen the market rally quite decisively for the previous week's trading here. A fairly large white body candle, the buyers building some upside momentum, and quite a good answer to the strong selling that we've seen over the past few months. Having said that, however, we saw Tesla test right to the top of the Ichimoku cloud and some price rejection there. So it suggests that perhaps all is not healthy with this first time frame uptrend here. The buyers have lost some commitment around that area, even though they still have closed with control. But one of the important things here is that the size of the white body means that the buyers have built some solid upside momentum. Now, if the market does continue to rally, looking to strong resistance around the top of the Ichimoku cloud once again at 228.69, and if the sellers do come into the market, looking to strong support at the Tenkan-sen indicator trading at 206.75. And just over here to the right hand side, and I think the bands do put this price action that we're seeing into perspective. And we saw the previous very strong uptrending price action, and then the transition from that uptrending phase into a downtrending phase, with the market rallying after the breakout down below the bands and then selling off and retracing back towards the middle band. So that's going to be an important area there around the middle of the bands if the buyers do come into the market. That's roughly about the 227 region, and then the bottom band is going to be very important. It may hold as support at 243.82, but 208.11, and if it's breached to the downside in a bearish manner, we could see the market resuming that strong downtrending price action that we saw previously. Next we'll take a look at Facebook. FB is the code, and here we've seen an important bearish close down below both the Kijun-sen and the Tenkan-sen indicator for the week that just has finished trading. Previously we saw the area just below the Kijun-sen holding as some sort of support, and price action being pushed to the upside around the 73.70 level, and it has still held as support, but we've had a much stronger close down below the Kijun-sen for this week's trading, and the Kijun-sen now holding as resistance for this week. And it does suggest that if the market can breach that area around 73 to 74, we could see Facebook testing down to the swing low around $70.35, or even then down to the top of the Ichimoku cloud around 67.61. Looking at the relative strength performance here against the S&P, underperforming the S&P, not strongly so, but for the past week it has, and there is a suggestion here that if we do see more selling, we could see the trend accelerate to the downside if the market breaches that support. We're looking at volatility here in this bottom chart on the left hand side, and it is at a cyclical low volatility, and it wouldn't surprise to see volatility move higher, and that would be as a potential result of the breakout down below the support level and strong downtrending price action. Now to the right hand side, the bands here suggest that we are set up for potential trending action. At the moment it's not giving us a clue as to whether it's going to be to the upside or the downside. We have the squeeze going on, and that's where the bands are squeezed together, and that's this low volatility situation. So we're on the lookout now for high volatility, which will most likely manifest itself as a trending price action. Now just looking to that lower band, and it's been holding a support for the prior week's trading and has finished, and very important trading this week with regard to that bottom band at 74.45, and if we breach down below there in a bearish manner and then we see strong bearish follow through, we could see continued development of the trend to the downside, but it is just a little too early to say based on what the bands are telling us at the moment. Moving next to Costco, COST is the code, and here we see a fairly strong white body candle here, a much larger white body than we've seen for quite some time, ending as support as we've seen for the past 3 weeks. At the moment, as this current candle is developing, we are seeing the Tenkan-sen at 146.70 hold as support, and there is an opportunity here for the buyers to continue trading higher. Now having said that, as the market tested up to roughly about 156, 157, we saw strong selling coming in, with the buyers only taking very weak control of this market, not too far up above the midpoint level, and very much a neutral type of market. So it suggests that there is a possibility of a change of trend based on the buyers losing that commitment as they tested up to these higher levels. But a lot will depend on the Tenkan-sen indicator, and if we see selling coming in and the market breach down below the support around 138.50, we could see strong support coming in just slightly below there around the Kijun-sen indicator at 137.90. Just looking at the relative strength, and for quite some time Costco has been outperforming the overall market and continues to do so, trading up above the upper band on the relative strength comparative to the S&P, and it does suggest that there is a possibility of the outperformance continuing. Looking at volatility, however, we can see that volatility is trending down off a cyclical peak, and that suggests that we could actually see a retracement of this first and second time frame uptrend that the market's been in, or we could see congestion. So that adds weight to the argument that we could see the market test down to the swing lows here, about the 138.40, 138.50 area.